How do I 35F tell my husband 35M that I want him to find another job? My husband 35M is working with delivery apps and taxi apps, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber. He works 7 days a week for up to 12 hours a day just to try to make $100 a day. Once he gets his $100 or close to it, he'll turn off the apps and come home. We hardly hang out, and if we do, it's just for 2 hours a day, if we're both free. He complains all the time about rude customers and unsupportive customer service reps. He even says that he doesn't feel like this is a real job. There just seems to be no work-life balance and for such menial pay. We've been married for a year now, and that's all he's been doing since then and even before marriage. He tells me all the time that he's gonna try to find something else, but he hardly makes time to apply for other jobs. I'm the breadwinner in a corporate job and I support us both for living expenses while he contributes what he can, which is like maybe 20% of our overall shared expenses. He has many friends doing the same delivery apps that are living comfortably. His friends are single and living with multiple roommates. When he hears how well his friends are doing, he is even more encouraged to pursue these apps further. Now husband suggests that we move states away because the Uber and delivery apps are more active in those areas. He's asked me to quit my job and find another job in the new state. I'm genuinely sad about leaving my job that I worked so hard to get, leaving friends that I built, and not having enough time with my husband because of his chosen job path. He swears he'll try to find something new, but seems super confused on which career path to take. Don't move. You're the breadwinner. Put your foot down. So you knew this and married him anyways. Why? Nope, you're the breadwinner. Put your foot down. My husband is the breadwinner and I have a hobby part-time job. I follow him and where his work takes him. My job isn't the one paying all the bills. Don't you dare quit your stable job for this loser and his insane idea. He needs to grow the hell up and start applying to jobs. Have you considered if your 35-year-old husband who still hasn't decided his career path is a manchild at best, or a lost cause at worst? How does one get to a state of even believing these delusions? I hope it's needless to say, but don't quit your corporate job, which is supporting your husband's hobby. An Uber driver isn't a career, it's a job. It has virtually no room for improvement. What a loser. You don't give up a stable job that is supporting your family so that your husband can get more Uber rides. Girl, what are you thinking? My M31 GF F33 broke my trust. What would you do? Hi everyone, your thoughts on this will be greatly appreciated. My girlfriend or EXGF met 1 year ago on Bumble. We waited 6 months to be official and it was one of the best relationships I ever had. She came from a 4-year relationship with a guy who, in her words, treated her terribly. The baggage that she had with this guy included 2 abortions, verbal abuse, rape while she was under the influence several times and cheating. Now to the story. 1 month ago, we had an argument about something trivial and she took down our Instagram highlights that she had of us. That made me curious and I was checking her Insta and saw some pictures where she was with her ex and another friend at a festival from a couple of years ago and another one where her leg and another leg from a man were showing like seeing a mountain. I asked her who that was and she said her ex. I told her that made me uncomfortable due to the horror stories she told me about him and due to the fact that she removed ours for a little argument and not his. She said it was part of the past but deleted them and I thanked her. I don't have any pictures of my ex hanging around my house or my Instagram out of respect and she understood that. After that, she told me that I was following my ex on Insta and that made her uncomfortable too because for her following is like they're a bridge of communication and connection. I followed my ex before meeting her and I absolutely did not talk to my ex at all but I completely understood and unfollowed out of respect. It's good to know that I did not have horror stories to tell about my ex, it just did not work out. 2 weeks later, I can't explain to you but there was an inside voice to tell me to check her followers. I saw that she and her ex re-added each other on Instagram. Both have private accounts so you have to go to the process of requesting and accepting. I called her out on it and she apologized and said she fucked up but it was out of curiosity and that he added her first. That broke my trust. I am not the guy that goes checking your followers and likes but she started that game and it just woke something in me to check. I told her I don't understand Thid after the talk we had 2 weeks ago and that's shady because she did not even mention it to me to see how I would feel and it felt like a double standard and that I would not feel curiosity for someone that hurt me so much in the past and would not risk throwing away everything I had with her for that. We had plans of living together. I dumped her, she is begging. Currently she is in a trip with her family and asked me to take these weeks to rethink. My trust is broken. I love her and she was really good to me but I can't just forget that. What would you do? Thank you strangers. If she'd been truly that good to you, she wouldn't have lied and hidden things from you. I do want to point out that her claims about her ex can still be true even if she's not acting very logically. Lots of victims of abuse have a lot of trouble cutting off their abusers for good because they've been groomed to placate them. This is not an excuse but an explanation. The way I see it, she is a good person who is too damaged from her previous relationship. Not ready for a new one. Still attached to her past. She needs to work on her issues so she doesn't screw up her next relationship. If you care for her as a person, don't get back together with her. You breaking up with her might be the wake-up call she needs to reflect on her actions. She has a lot of trauma that she needs to deal with before entering another relationship. This requires therapy and a lot of time. Until dealt with, she will continue to attract chaos into her life, and thus into yours. And she probably won't understand her own actions as past trauma works silently in the background undermining her decision-making. Just know, you are only seeing a small piece of the total picture going on in your relationship. I feel for you, my man. Never get emotionally attached to anyone that needs an ex in their lives. Although exceptions exist, the rule is they still have feelings for each other. And if they choose conflict over cutting out an ex, guess what? You're the runner-up. In this case, it's true, if you ain't first, you're last. There is way more going on with them than you know. Good job not ceding control of your emotions to her. She's proven she doesn't deserve you. Maybe in her world lying, sneaking around and abusing your GF is okay. That isn't a world you want to live in. Don't pay any attention to her whining. You're dealing with this shit in your 30s? Grow up, block her, and move on. You're too old to be arguing back and forth over Instagram. I, 29F, and my boyfriend, 30M, are not very intimate. Thoughts please? My boyfriend and I have been dating for around 5 years. He is amazing on all scales and really loves and cares about me a lot. He is very accomplished in his life, very ambitious and financially supports me whenever needed. However, he is not exactly the romantic type and we are not very active sexually. I tried to bring it up a few times but he is dismissive and tends to get defensive whenever I initiate the discussion on how we can enhance our intimacy. I am at a point in my life where I either want to fully commit or move on to a more compatible partner. Was wondering how normal this situation is and if anyone has faced something similar and it got better. Thanks. Sexual compatibility is fundamental for a happy marriage, LTR. Unless you want to live a life of frustration, sadness, and have your self-esteem destroyed, you should move on and find a partner who wants you sexually as much as you want them. You're in a dead bedroom, and dead bedrooms never get better. Dead bedrooms for all the proof of that you could ever need. Your two choices are to 1. Stay with him and accept a nearly sexless life, or 2. Leave him and find a sexually compatible partner. There is no third option. None of the advice anyone gives you in this thread to try to fix it is going to fix anything. Don't take my word for it. Go to the DB sub and see for yourself. They all started out great. They all say, everything else is perfect except for the sex. They all try the talks, and counseling, and hormone checks and all the stuff that people are going to try to suggest, and nothing ever fixes a DB. You're only 29, don't waste your youth on this. He is not interested in sex and does not want to be interested in sex. He is defensive and dismissive when you try to talk about sex. He's really not as great a partner as you like to think. This relationship is going nowhere. Get out and move on with your life. If he won't even discuss it, just refuse to accept that. He either takes you seriously and works together to make things work, or you know to take the exit. Move on. You think he's a great partner just because he supports you? He cannot even do the bare minimum of being intimate. Intimacy is very important in relationships. Say leave or just accept him for how he is and have a sexless relationship. As someone in an aggressively, consensual, sexually compatible relationship, if it were me I'd tell myself to move on. If sex isn't that big of a deal to you, that's your decision, but it doesn't sound like that's the case, and let me tell you, being with someone that's like the literal perfect match to your sexual interests as well as your non-sexual ones is a heaven I never imagined. My 33 female said she doesn't love me anymore. 31 male? I 31M and my partner a 33F have been together for 8 years. We have a 2-year-old child together. A beautiful home. The relationship since having the kid have been difficult. It's hard to find time for each other except a little time after the kid goes to bed. I felt something was wrong and she told me she doesn't feel the same as she used to about me. I'm kind of devastated. I dreamed of another kid with her and watching our family grow. She went on to say she wants to be single and wants to see if someone finds her attractive. It kills me because I don't want to miss any time with my daughter. How do I navigate this? What does the relationship after having a child has been difficult mean? Was it good before the child? What's been causing problems finding time? Have you both been talking about these problems before? Had the sex drastically reduced, disappeared? When did that start? Don't stay together just for the kids' sake. This never works. Honestly, man, For starters, ask her why she feels that way, and from one man to another, be prepared to listen and not argue if she tells you something you are doing wrong. As men, it's our instinct sometimes to react harshly to criticism or critique, but if you genuinely want to make it work with her, then you need to be prepared to ask the hard questions and hear the even harder answers. Chances are she will tell you something you aren't doing or aren't fulfilling for her that she needs. Be an adult and internalize what she says and see if it's something you can work on, or if she will even allow you time to try and make changes. But you're going to have to make some changes most likely, so I hope you are ready to have that conversation or nothing will work out. You and your wife need to have a serious conversation regarding what you both need from the relationship. Hire a babysitter and do some activities you both enjoy. Based on the little info you wrote, it sounds like your lives revolve around work and the child. You need balance and time to enjoy your life outside of these two things. Changes need to be made, and you both need to openly discuss how to salvage the relationship. And if your wife decides to end the relationship, you still can co-parent amicably with each other. How often did you take over childcare and give her, time? Everyone, thank you so much for your replies. Read these comments have made me feel so much better.